Welcome back, everyone. And this week you will be going a little bit further into what matter and energy in the organisms and ecosystems looks like. Last week we talked about how to set up an experiment and about variables and controls. This week we're going to dive into what the actual concept of matter is, and then we'll be moving forward into what the movement of matter means and how our ecosystems find ways to move matter around. So the first thing that I would like everyone to know is sort of what matter is. And I'm not going to give you the overall or the very specific of what it is because I'd like you to watch the video. But matter is really going to be anything that's made up of anything in the world. Matter is a three-dimensional object, and it begins with atoms and molecules. So it really can be anything. That being said, your math connection this week is going to relate to the concept of three dimensions, but you're going to be looking at what matter is, and then you're going to be writing in your writing masterpiece a small section on matter. So the first thing that I'd like you to do this week is to create a Google document titled Matter. You're then going to go to Discovery Education and watch this video over on the right, make sure it's the same one, on matter. Then, on your Google document titled Matter, I want you to answer a couple of questions, and I want you to use your own words, and make sure they're your own words. The first question is, what is matter? You can take concepts and ideas from the video or what I'm telling you about now or in class, but I want you to use your own words. I also want you to tell me some of the different things that matter is made up of, which I've sort of already answered, but it definitely is going to be answered within the video and class. The next thing that I want you to do is you're going to go to the website on the slideshow, and it's going to be an article about the flow of matter in ecosystems. It's going to look like this. It isn't that long of an article. It does have some pictures, but it's only about 4 different paragraphs. So it's going to be at the top down to here. If you want to look at the summary as well, that's definitely going to help you. And if you want a deeper understanding, don't be afraid to look at the review or watch some of the videos. I'm not requiring the review or the videos, but definitely look at the different writing in the article. After you read through that, I want you to answer a couple more questions on your matter document. The first question is going to be, what is the matter that moves around an ecosystem? So I want you to start thinking about not just what matter is, but what the importance of it is, and then what are some ways in which you think matter can naturally be moved around. And this is where I need you to think outside the box. How do animals come into play? How do plants come into play? How do the different weather patterns in different seasons come into play? Or even as simple as how does when the sun's up compared to when the sun's down come into play? I want you to think about all those things and put together the answer to different ways in which matter can be moved around. After that, your week 2 math connection is going to be a basic understanding of volume. Since we're talking about something that's three-dimensional, I thought it would make sense for us to learn how to find what the volume of an object is. So to find volume, you're going to use measurements of length, width, and height, and you're going to multiply those together. So there'll be 3 numbers you're multiplying together. So an example is if this box here was 3 inches tall, 3 inches wide, and 3 inches long, so length, width, and height, you would multiply 3 times 3, which would be 27, and then you'd multiply it times 3 again, which is going to be 81. So you're going to have a pretty decently large number, and I want you to be able to answer these couple of questions. So on your Unit 2 Math Connections worksheet, which you should create right now, I want you to answer the 2 questions. If the length of a box is 9, the height is 4, and the width is 3, what is the volume? And make sure when you're answering these questions, you keep in mind what the measurement tool is. So in this one, it's centimeters. The answer is not just simply going to be a number, it's also going to have the measurement afterwards. So it would be blank centimeters. The second question is if the length of a box is 11 centimeters, the height is 9, and the width is 2, what is the volume? So please answer those 2 questions on your Math 2 worksheet. Your writing connection this week, like I stated, you're going to be beginning that first paragraph on what matter is. So it's going to be the basic understanding. So last week you set up your paper. Now you should have your section titles. And what I want you to do is in 12 to 15 sentences, I want you to answer these following questions in your own words and make it into a paragraph that has good flow. So what is matter? What is matter made up of? And when we talk about the movement of matter, what does that mean? And definitely, this is a good spot for you to include examples. Remember, I want this to be 12 to 15 solid sentences, so using your own thoughts and ideas is going to be very important.